Hey everybody, I'm here today with a simple driving lesson on knowing when to change gears in a car. Now, it's a very simple process, and I will be going over the process with you in this video, explaining all of the factors that come into play when you are changing gears. All right, let's get right to it. First and foremost, I am currently in an automatic car, but I will definitely show you the process for changing gears using this car, and this will work whether you're in an automatic car that you can shift gears in, like the one that I'm in right now, because it is a manual mode, or if you're in a manual car, or if you're in a car with paddle shifters, okay? In the modern day, it's not only manual cars that allow you to shift gears, it's all types of transmissions in cars. So let's get right to it without further ado. This thing right here that has these numbers is called the tachometer. Now, as you can see, it says R per minute, so revolutions per minute times 1,000. Right now, it's at about 750 revolutions per minute, because at 1, it would be 1,000, at 2, it would be 2,000, and so forth. Now, here's what you have to understand about the tachometer and the gears, okay? So, first and foremost, you're going to see a red line on the tachometer, and right here it's at 6,500 RPMs. That's the red line right there. That tells you the maximum revolutions per minute that the car can reach safely with regards to what the manufacturer has kept in mind and considered, okay? So with that being said, if your car is factory, if it's stock, then you should not exceed the red line. Now, here's how the gears work. A lower gear will give you more acceleration but a lower top speed. A higher gear will give you less acceleration, but a higher top speed. So that means my first gear is going to give me the most acceleration that I can have, but also the top speed is going to be very low. Let's just, I'm just going to say it might be, let's say like 45 kilometers an hour, but it's going to give me as much acceleration as the car has. Now, my fifth gear, let's say, or my fourth gear, whatever you want to consider, like a higher gear, is going to give me much less acceleration than first gear, but the top speed is going to be much higher. It might be 200 kilometers an hour in that gear. So what you need to know is the lower gears allow you to have more acceleration, but a lower top speed, and the higher gears allow you to have less acceleration, but a higher top speed. Now, with that being said, also how high you rev the car, meaning how high you let the car go in that gear, takes into account the amount of gas that you're going to waste. The higher that you rev the tachometer, the more gas that you're going to waste. So let's say I was driving in first gear and I left it in first gear all the way to like 5,000 RPMs. That means I'm going to have acceleration at my foot because I'm in the lowest gear. I'm going to have the most acceleration, but I'm going to waste a lot of gas if I did all the way to 5,000 RPM before I shifted. Now, on the other hand, if I took first gear up to 2,500 RPM and then I shifted, right? So I went to 2,500 RPM, then I shifted into second. That means that I'm actually going to have less acceleration because second gear has less acceleration, but I'm going to have a higher top speed and I'm not going to waste as much gas because I shifted at 2,500 RPM as opposed to let's say 5,000 RPM. So with that being said, it all depends on your car goals, because when you should shift all depends on your car goals. If you want to drive and have the maximum acceleration, you want to have as much acceleration as possible for your car, then I would recommend shifting higher. So take first gear up to like a higher RPM, something like 5,000 RPM, and then shift to second gear, bring second gear to 5,000 RPM, and then shift. You're going to have a good amount of acceleration, but you're going to also waste a lot of gas. On the other hand, if you want to save gas and you don't care about acceleration, you're just casually driving, then maybe shift at like 2,500 RPM. Now, I wouldn't recommend redlining your car often because it can, cause some significant wear and tear to the engine. If you redline your car once in a while, realistically, nothing is likely to happen because of that, because the cars are meant to redline. That's why they have the redline. Cars are meant to rev that high. It prevents them from revving too high to like 8,000 RPM or something. Even though my last car revved at over 8,000 RPM, wherever your redline is, you don't want to hit that often, because what's going to happen is it is going to cause wear and tear on the engine because the engine is revving really quickly. So with regards to when you should shift, it all depends on your car goals. And if, like I said, I'm driving an automatic car, but it does have a manual mode. So I can shift through the gears in the manual mode on this car. So if I wanted to have a lot of acceleration, I would take first gear up to, let's say, 5,500 RPM, second gear up to 5,500 RPM, and so forth. But if I wanted to just save some gas, like now I have a full tank of gas, as you can see right there. I want to save some gas. So let's, and I don't care about acceleration. I would just shift it somewhere around 2,500 RPM to 3,000, somewhere along there. So it all depends. You got to get a feel for your car, but the best way to put it is that when you're driving and you're accelerating, whenever you feel the engine working too hard and it sounds like the engine is working too hard for what you want to do, then you shift. Meaning if you want to take it easy and your engine sounds like it's working too hard, then shift early, because it'll sound like it's working too hard when you're revving at, let's say, 3,000 RPMs. If you want to, completely accelerate your car, then, it's okay for your engine to work harder, so you can shift at a much higher RPM. And that's basically it. That's the key to knowing when to shift gears. First and foremost, do not exceed the red line and do not hit the red line often. Try and limit it as much as possible. Try and hit the red line as infrequently and as few times as possible to cause the least amount of wear and tear on the car, but it all depends on your car goals. If you want to rev it up, then, if you want acceleration, rev to the higher RPMs before you shift gears. If, on the other hand, you want to conserve gas, then rev to the lower RPMs before you shift gears. And that's basically it. If you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.